back to California Cooking. We have a great show lined up for you today. I'm hanging out in the kitchen with a James Beard nominated chef, Casey Lane. He is cooking up Italian cuisine, but with a North African twist. Then I'm making a low and slow fall off the bone braised short rib. And fish and chips, shepherd's pie, and local brew. Chris Shauble is taking us to a restaurant on his side of town. First up, he's the newest kid on the West Hollywood block. Chef Casey Lane has 3 restaurants in Los Angeles, and he's just 35. So I check out his newest spot at the Lapeer Hotel. Take a look. I'm here with Chef Casey Lane. Hi, Chef.
How are you today?
Good to see you.
You as well.
I'm here at the beautiful Lapeer Hotel. This is a neighborhood place for me because it's
Excellent.
a few, and you too.
Myself as well,
right.
absolutely.
Isn't it nice when a place comes into the neighborhood and it's very welcoming to people in the neighborhood?
It is, and also for me, it was so exciting to get to do something in this neighborhood because I've lived in the neighborhood for 8+ years at this point. I absolutely adore the walk. I adore everything about it. And so to get to kind of fine tune something that I thought the rest of the neighborhood would love, that I'm also very passionate about, was kind of the most rewarding experience I've had.
Now, the name of the restaurant, say it for me so I don't.
Viale Dei Romani.
So one would think, okay, it's an Italian restaurant.
It's an Italian restaurant, yeah. So Viale has always just kind of been a favorite word of mine. It means avenue in Italian.
Okay.
And the Romani are kind of the nomad people that have made their way throughout all of Italy. All the locals call them the Romani people, both from like Pakistan, going through Georgia, and then the North Africans from the Moorish influence. They all kind of make up like the immigrant culture that's on the streets and the street culture. And they've brought a lot to the food and to the culture and to the dynamic. And so my mother's from Marseille, so being in that kind of French Moroccan like heritage, it's always played a part in the way that I thought about the food and the way that I thought about the culture on the South Coast.
That's why people may look at the menu and go, well, this sounds kind of Middle Eastern, not Italian. It's because of that.
Absolutely. It's because at the end of the day, like the entire world's a melting pot at this point,
Some of the dishes in the restaurant here, what are some of your favorites?
A lot of the ones with more of the North African influence are the ones that really kind of shock people a bit, because I think they're not sure what to think about it, with it being such an Italian restaurant and then having, a roasted chicken with tagine flavors and served with like an Ethiopian crepe, and a little bit of that is really surprising to them when they eat it and they're like, wow, this is really soulful, and I can tell that like there's Italian cooking, but with these like more kind of complex flavor profiles, and a lot of yogurt is like saucing so that it kind of provides acidity, and it's cooling, and it's different, as well as sauteed rice dishes are kind of my favorites. We do a saffron with 3 different clams and a aioli on top and some fennel pollen. We do a little bit like paella, absolutely, but just a little more sauteed. And then the pizza, honestly, is actually like...
What's going on with the pizza?
The pizza was accidentally maybe the best thing that we make.
Why was it an accident?
Never served pizza in a restaurant before. Decided we were going to do it. We got a wood fire oven, but the dough just blew us all away. We kind of got it right the first time we made it. We were like, wow.
Like, this is excellent.
Yeah, this is excellent. And I think that we've had a huge response to the pizza.
I like that. Because nothing worse than disappointing pizza. Right?
Yes.
Isn't that the most upsetting?
It's almost hard to be disappointed. And in this day and age, it's almost hard to be excited by pizza because there's so much good pizza in the city, especially here.
One dish that I hear, there's so many delicious things here, but the 100-layer lasagna. How did that come to be, and how long does something like that take?
It takes 3 days. It's about making the bolognese, and our bolognese we go through a bunch of steps to make sure that it's like the way that we want it. We call it pasta alla piastra because we use a hot sheet of metal, and we basically sear the sliced lasagna on one side so that every bite you kind of get that like corner of the lasagna, the edge that everyone likes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So the tasting kitchen in Venice, 10 years now.
God bless it.
You were 26?
25.
25 when that restaurant opened. Yeah. Being the head chef at 25 years old, and by the way, the Tasting Kitchen, if you haven't been or heard of it, it is one of the, I would say like a landmark restaurant in Los Angeles.
It definitely changed a bit of the landscape without us really knowing it. It was just us doing what we love to do. And also we got very fortunate with some James Beard nominations along the way. Yeah, walking in at 25, they just kind of gave me the keys. And there was no, I was the operator, I was the chef.
Were you freaked out?
I think I was too dumb to be freaked out. I think I was young and really
ignorance
filled
is
with
bliss sometimes, isn't it?
We went in and did what we wanted to do with no fear of failure. We're gonna do bronzino.
Okay, I love
Yes.
bronzino.
It's one of our kind of favorite dishes. We do it a different way at dinner and at lunch.
So are we doing lunch? Or are we
We're doing the lunch version.
Okay.
A little bit of salt, touch olive oil. Seasoning too. Season.
Yep, start
Take
there.
your time. Take your time with the seasoning. You can't do that over again. It's very, very important. A little bit of oil on skin side, hot grill. So we put a little couscous in the oven right here.
Okay.
A little bit of pistachio, a little bit of sultana raisins or
Okay.
golden raisin.
What a beautiful lunch.
Favorites.
Yeah.
You can see in here that like this is
Yep.
kind of starting to cook a little bit. We're probably in a pretty good place to be able to actually like get this off of
Yes.
our grill and make a turn here. But this actually over the wood as well, you get a very even kind of sear on the bottom of it with
Yeah.
that wood smoke flavor. We're gonna plate this around.
Okay.
Okay, so our gorgeous little
What a
china we
fast
got.
dish. This is like a couple of minutes.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. So it's a touch of the yogurt underneath the couscous so that you're not really like dipping it into
Yeah.
it, but you can't help it, you know?
Right.
So I've kind of tricked you into eating this the way that I want you to eat it. This
What?
is really, look how good of a job
Oh
we
my
did on
gosh.
that fish. I know.
The skin is all crispy and
Yeah,
bubbly.
That was fancy.
That is super fancy.
All right.
Oh yeah.
A bit of tremula. So
Okay, now what's
is
tremula?
a North African salsa that has a bit of cilantro into it.
Yeah.
And a good bit of cumin and paprika. Just gives it a bit more of a spice profile to it. If you're going for crispy skin fish on anything, don't sauce the top
I
of your
noticed
skin.
you did that. You went along the
Edges,
edge.
just like kiss the corners with it. It's all gonna be
Smart.
very pretty.
Okay, everyone
Gonna
at home,
finish it.
brown your lemons.
With the grilled lemon.
It makes such a difference to have the brown.
It does.
on
It
the
also
lemon.
it cooks some of the acidity out of it.
Ah.
It becomes very, very sweet. It's very pretty.
This took 4 minutes, and look what he created.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
We created.
I
felt supported the entire
Yeah,
time.
thank you.
Yeah.
I got a hit of
There you
that.
go.
Tremula?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great.
You have to come here for lunch because if I ate this for lunch every day, my life would change.
You'd be healthy, too.
I would be, yeah. It's healthy, but so full of flavor. Way to go, Chef. I told you, Chef Casey, you have the most photogenic lasagna I've ever seen.
We try to make all the food pretty, you
so
know, like little
beautiful.
crusts over here.
Look at
lasagna.
100 layers. I won't count, but it looks pretty close. Right?
It's pretty close. Let's just leave it at that.
And then the pizza.
The pizza, our kind of favorite little crown jewel. This one is rabbit sausage with a little bit of fontina, a fennel cream, some fennel, like actual fennel flowers, little fennel pollen, and some rosemary. Yeah, this
Oh, man.
fun, interesting, right?
That has so much flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And the dough, the pizza dough is light. See how we're not talking here?
No. Texture. Enjoy it. Thank you, darling.
Thank you. Chef Casey's such a sweet guy, and he knows his stuff. Coming up, shepherd's pie, fish and chips, and more. Chris Shauble is taking us to one of his favorite restaurants on his side of town. And then, does Levi like it? I make for him my version of a banana split, but does he like it? But first, I'm showing you how to make the perfect comfort food, braised short ribs. I love those dishes where you just have a big old pot, you throw all kinds of veggies in there with meat, and you just let it simmer slow and low for hours. And that braised short rib is fall off the bone delicious. Take a look. There's nothing better on a cold night than a big pot of braised meat, you know, the kind that falls off the bone with the sauce. So I decided, let's do a little braised short rib. I have to be honest, I've had this meal, but I've never made this meal until just the other night. And I thought, let's make something where I can just put it in the oven earlier in the day. This is better for a weekend meal because it takes about 3 hours. So to start, you get your beef short rib. These are big boys, they have a bone in them. And what we're gonna do is dredge in flour because we're gonna brown them off. That's gonna start to get the flavor, the caramelization on the meat, and then they go in the oven for 3 hours. So to start the dredging, we're gonna have a little bit of salt to the flour, 2 healthy pinches, some garlic powder. I'm gonna add a little bit of that, and a lot of cracked black pepper. And with a dish like this, with every step, if you can season, that's gonna make it taste that much better because this is the kind of meal that you can't really season afterwards. Once it's cooked for 3 hours, forget it. That's basically the way it's gonna taste. So we'll take our short ribs and we'll get every side dredged in the flour. And when you put it in the flour like this, it cooks off in the pot and gets nice and brown and really forms a crust on the meat. Shake off the excess. You don't want the extra flour to burn in the pot. Now we're gonna go to the stove and brown them off. We're gonna brown up the short ribs in a hot Dutch oven. Got a little bit of olive oil, medium-high heat, and we're gonna get these browned on every side. Okay, here's what we're looking for. Look at that. Brown! Brown is flavor, and I flip on every side and brown it. It takes a little time, but it's worth it. Time to take our ribs out, our short ribs. They browned on every side, so it smells so good already, but this meat is tough, so that's why going in the oven for 3 hours, it will fall off the bone when we're done. So keep this pot going, turn it down to about medium. Now we're gonna add all the veggies. We've got our carrots. Also, we've got 3 stalks of celery, same thing, diced. A medium white onion going in the pot. We're gonna cook the veggies up. We just wanna soften the veggies before we put it in the oven. And there's enough fat in the pot that it's coating the veggies. Healthy pinch of salt. When the veggies cook down a little bit, about 5 minutes, remember the flour we used to dredge the meat? Hold on to that, because I'm gonna add a big tablespoon and a half to the veggies. This is gonna end up thickening up our sauce when it's in the oven. So we're gonna coat our veggies with a little bit of that flour. Let the flour taste cook off. That's the thing about raw flour, it doesn't taste good. So you let it cook in the meat fat a little bit with the veggies, cook out that raw flour taste. 5 cloves of garlic. Tomato paste. 6-ounce can. This is how we start building our sauce. Now to the liquids. I've got a carton of beef broth or beef stock. The whole thing is going in. Okay, balsamic vinegar. I think that's kind of an interesting ingredient for this braised short rib because it gives that little zing, tang. I'm gonna go just shy of a half a cup. So a little bit more than a quarter of a cup, but less than a half a cup. Ooh, this is like a hot tub of flavor in here. All right, now the wine. I have already had some. This is a great way to use up some wine. I have a Pinot Noir. Obviously, use something that you want to drink because if you get a bottle of wine that you don't like the taste of it, well, imagine how your sauce is going to taste like that wine. So I'm going to do a cup of red wine, about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. It has such depth of flavor in Worcestershire. It's always good with meat. Thyme, about 4 sprigs of thyme, fresh thyme, goes in. 2 bay leaves, anything that cooks a long time in the oven, it always tends to have a bay leaf in it. So we're gonna stick a couple of bay leaves. All right, now, the ribs go back in. So we're gonna nestle these guys in here. And it should look just like this, where the liquid comes right to the top of those ribs. And if it doesn't, add some more beef broth. You could even add a little water. Lid goes on, pop it in the oven for 2.5 to 3 hours. Okay, you guys, the magic of television, it's done. 3 hours, it would take 2.5 to 3. I check it halfway in between, I turn them, and voila, it has cooked down. Ta-da! The bone has no meat on it, and that's when you know it cooked long enough, and woo! It smells heavenly. I cannot wait to taste this. All right, we'll get some of the grits. so comforting. The flavor of the short rib is so rich because it's been cooking in all of those flavors. This is the perfect Sunday meal. Oh my gosh, those short ribs were really, really yummy. But if you want to find out what I made with them, not mashed potatoes, go to ktla.com to find out. It's a brewery with amazing farm fresh food. Chris Shauble loves hanging out there with the boys. And then, does Levi like it? I make for him my version of a banana split, but does he like it? Now to a brewery serving up elevated pub fare. Chris Shauble takes us to one of his favorite bro spots in Santa Clarita. Take a look.
Hi, Jessica, and welcome to my neck of the woods, the Newhall section of Santa Clarita, which is being revitalized. Across the street, which by the way is Main Street, Newhall, you can see all the new construction that's happening. Condos, a movie theater, you name it. And best of all, lots of new independent restaurants. This is one of my favorites, Brewery Draconum. I have 5 beautiful women in my house, my wife and my daughters, but you know what? Sometimes I need some guy time. This is where I go. Let's head in. Caroline, if you could, tell us about the space and the concept of Draconum.
So we wanted to do a sort of elevated pub-style feel, but we wanted to bring in that tavern-like, but just a little bit more elegance, a little more sophistication.
And the name Draconum?
It means of the dragons, it's Latin, so really it translates to Brewery of the Dragons.
And this is unique for Newhall and Santa Clarita, right?
We wanted to create something really unique that's not anywhere else in this valley. So you'll see that when you see our beer garden, there's nothing like it in this valley. And also just incorporating the beer into as much food as we can.
Tell me about what's out back.
So out back we have a full beer garden with tavern-like seating, picnic tables, we have 2 full bocce ball courts, and then we also have cornhole outside as well. Wine barrels with chess on it, so it's fun for the whole family.
I know there's a few dishes you guys really take pride in. I know the pretzel appetizer, the salmon, and the shepherd's pie. Anything else?
Probably our burgers are amazing because we do all of our beef ground in-house. And then also, you know, like you said, our beer cheese for our pretzel, amazing. Our salmon is wild-caught salmon. We top it with a nice cream sauce. And again, everything we do fresh daily in-house.
Every handle that's unique is one of your beers.
Each of those is one of our own unique house brews that we brew here on site. Right now we have 10 taps that are our home brews, and it ranges anywhere from 8 to 12 taps usually.
If one were looking for the highest ABV that you guys provide on your home brews, what would that be?
That one's gonna be our birthday suit right now at 11%.
Right, not for me, I'm just asking for my guys.
Sure.
Speaking of my guys, let's go eat.
Done.
Meet my great friends. This is Craig Moss, Jeffrey Thompson, and give it up for our server, Ryan. What you got for us today?
Well, for beer stuff, let's start there.
Yes.
So beer list is right here for you guys.
Yes, that sounds good, Ryan.
2 of the Imperials now.
Jeffrey likes being in his birthday suit, but I don't know why he's going that, but I'll actually get the beer though.
Sure?
Yeah.
You want to do the birthday suit?
Yeah,
Right
I'll
on.
do that.
Let's get that cranked up for you guys. You guys know what you want to do for entrees?
The fish and chips.
Fish and chips for you?
I'm hungry. Let me get the salmon and chicken burger.
Told you I was hungry. I told you.
I've never had it, so I'm gonna try it today, the shepherd's pie.
Salmon here for you.
Nice.
We got the shepherd's pie right there.
Pie, baby.
We got
Look
the
at that.
fish and the homemade chips. Enjoy, guys.
There's some good fish and chips, dude. Good fish and chips.
Yeah, it's all sauce. Nice little kick.
Do me a favor.
If you want a little piece.
Yeah, please, and then just dip it.
Hold on, let me get you a little piece. Yeah, there it is.
That's
Can you
good.
be mature, JT?
I'm trying, man. It's hard. I have his salmon with this wonderful chili. This chili's good.
You know what I like? This is a brewery with a chef, and it comes out in the food. It really, really does. You can go to a lot of places, watch a game, but you can't go to a lot of places, watch a game with this caliber of food.
Man, that beer and burger goes great together. The pairing is fantastic.
This is the first time I've eaten fish and chips that I like without ketchup.
So Jessica, hopefully you've enjoyed learning a lot about my favorite restaurant, Brewery Draconum. right here in the Newhall section of Santa Clarita. Hopefully you've also enjoyed meeting my guys, Craig Moss, Jeffrey Thompson. Now, Jessica, you got to make it up here my treat.
Oh, thanks, Chris. You and the boys look like you had so much fun. Now on to Levi Likes It. My boy loves desserts, but does he like my version of a banana split? Let's find out. Levi, your banana split.
Eat a banana.
Do you need a spoon?
No chocolate. I like cheese.
It's coconut.
This coconut. Uh-oh.
What?
Smell it. Ew.
How's my banana split? How is it?
Good. Not good. Not good.
Oh, how do you say?
Not good, please.
Yes. He liked it. If you want to find out how to make it, go to ktla.com. That's it for us. If you want to hear more of my conversation with Chef Casey Lane, where he tells me how he had the guts to open up one of the hottest restaurants in Los Angeles at just 25 years old, go to our California Cooking Podcast. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. And those short ribs were so good. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, now on to a True Blue brewery. Cook it up. Now to a True Blue brewery. No, True Blue, what do you call it? True Brew Pub. True Brewery.